There are places that exist between worlds, where the noise of the city fades into whisper, where stone and nature have learned to coexist, where time moves differently. England, October, late afternoon. The light here is different in autumn, softer, more forgiving. It catches the turning leaves and transforms them into something more than themselves. The sound of leaves underfoot, each step a small percussion, a rhythm as old as autumn itself. There is something honest about this sound, something that connects us to every person who has walked this path before. The same crunch, the same season, the same inevitable turning. Through the trees, glimpses of the how, that distinctive silhouette against an October sky. Passes, a run of passes, breathing steady, feet finding rhythm on the gravel path. Headphones in, eyes forward, lost in whatever internal world music and endorphins create. Two people on a bench, close enough that their shoulders touch, not speaking, not needing to. Sharing silence in a way that speaks of comfort, of time spent together, of knowing when words are not necessary. We come to places like these for different reasons, but perhaps we're all seeking the same thing: space, breath, a reminder that there is more to existence than the small boxes we've built around our lives. The past wind and intersect offering choices, left to right, lyrical howl, forest of metal. Small decisions that feel, in this moment, like the only decisions that matter. There is a particular melancholy to autumn that isn't quite sadness, more like awareness. The year is dying, yes, but slowly, beautifully, showing us its colors before it goes. Every falling leaf is a small surrender. The tree letting go of what sustained it through spring and summer, making peace with what comes next. There's wisdom in that, in knowing when to release, in trusting that what falls away makes room for what comes after. The air is different now, sharper. You can taste winter in it, somewhere beneath the present warmth. A promise or a warning, depending on your perspective. This is the season of harvest and preparation, of gathering in and hunkering down. Our ancestors knew this in their bones, felt the urgency as the day shortened. We've insulated ourselves from that urgency with central heating and supermarkets, but something in us still responds. It still feels the pull of seasonal change. Watch the light change, not sudden, but inevitable. The shadows lengthen, the colors deepen, the world preparing for night. How many people have stood where I'm standing? How many people have watched this same seasonal transformation? Thousands, tens of thousands, each bringing their own joys, their own sorrows, their own moment of existence to this place. The sun is almost gone now. That brief window between day and night when the world holds its breath. The golden hour giving away to the blue hour.
Opening, closing, all in one day. Blue sky, then violent rain. Feeling the dirt shifts, sensing the change. The dog has been shaken outside of the grave. Opening, closing, statements to phrase. Radio channels, curses or praise. News and instruction
some days, just like today, we got lucky enough just to have this beautiful and sunny day out here in England. And just because I had planned to do kind of a picnic day, just coming out to enjoy the sun, being out here as much as I can, I thought it would be a good idea just to grab a few things to eat and just to enjoy the sun, because it's not common. And I know the further we go into autumn here in England, the days that are actually sunny, they would be fewer. So I brought dates. What else did I bring? I did bring a couple of seeds. I don't know which one these are, but I know they are tasty. And last but not least, if you know me, I'm a huge granola guy. So I brought granola. This one is this is milk based. And I added a little bit more of dates, but the smaller ones, right? I came to the conclusion that you cannot fight the sun, so might as well just join it, right? Since we are joining the sun and just having this moment right here, I figured to be switching the seats. I kind of like the slow pace life that people have in England, especially here in Northern. Always in Midlands, because I know the closest airport that I have right now that is close to me, it's called East Midlands Airport, EMA. But as I was under the impression that I was like north in England, so I didn't know exactly. No, I don't think I'm that north. I think I'm far more East Midlands, right? But correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that Midlands refers to like to be in the middle of the country. Is that right? Or it's just that you're not exactly like the central capital of the country, which is London. I don't know. I have to dig a little bit I'll dig a little bit more of research into that later. I don't know if you ever feel like me, but I think that the way I like to live my life is just to have a balance. And when I say a balance, I mean I like to have a little bit of fast-paced and a little bit of chaos. But I also like to enjoy quietness, peaceful, calm moments. And I think for the last couple of years, especially after the pandemic, this is something that I've been able to achieve year after year. And 2025 was no different. Why? When I stopped to think about how it has been like for me the past couple of years and how I have been living my life, I always came to the realization that I always made plans. I always knew what I wanted to do with my life, with the years, with the months. I'm the type of guy that always plan ahead, right? So let's say that the next 6 months I know for sure what I would like to be doing. But the funny thing with life is that you don't get to choose, right? Life sometimes can be so funny and so thrilling that you don't get to really live what you set for yourself. And right now, this is one of those moments where I see myself living uh, in a in a way that I planned, but I did not plan to the exact same coordinates that I'm having right now, which is funny, right? And I guess that's a little bit of anxiety of mine to kind of wanted to plan ahead and also to be in control of every step of the way that that I'm gonna have with my life. But I also like the stability and the peace of mind that comes with it because I know for sure where I'm gonna be, and that allows me to get tickets, flight tickets, travel details that I wouldn't be able to if I didn't plan ahead. And even if I don't have a huge plan when I get to those places, when I travel there, because the main thing for me was like, okay, how am I going to get there? What is the flight details? Where the bus that I'm gonna take or the train, if that's the case, where I'm gonna stay, so Airbnb, hotel, and past that, I don't really have an agenda, right? So I don't plan any tours. I don't I don't really have anything planned to. Okay, I'm gonna go on a tour right now. On day number 2, I'm gonna have this and this done, and day 3, I'm gonna go to this city, blah blah blah. No, I don't have that, and that's really funny because my brother, he's just like that. He has to have everything planned from the moment he lands into a new country, a new city. The activities that he's going to be doing that day, though, that week. And I know that that's gonna vary from person to person, and everyone has their own style when it comes to traveling, or just simply living their lives. So good. Speaking of dates, I remember one of the very first times that I actually got to taste it and to have one, just like I'm having right now. I was in Montenegro. You know Montenegro, right? Montenegro is a small country in the Balkans, in Europe. And I met this girl, which I'm sure I mention her all the time here in this channel. Her name is Danny. She's from Texas. And because she has Mexican heritage, she knows how to cook Mexican food. And one of the afternoons that we were spending together, just which one getting stuff done, working, she would go to the kitchen and make those dates snacks, which were amazing. And I don't recall exactly the way that she used to prepare those, but I remember it involved the cheese, the dates itself, and it was kind of greasy, but not in a heavy way. So it was good. So this right now is remind me of her.
You round the corner, 4 a.m. Headlights through my window like sunlight blazing in. You lay your head down, square on the wheel, and that horn is sounding through the night's tender still. And I've got to thinking your heart ain't worth this pain. I wanna love you, but it's more of the same. You had me charmed then, when your song rang true. Now cold distant memory, that version of you. First came the cocaine, then came the bus, plastered with our faces, that old version of us. Can't do no more talking or crying out in vain. I wanna love you, but it's more of the same. Will I ever know love, where boots don't shake the floor, with no fistfuls of plaster, with no slam of the door? You know that you're drowning, don't drown.